Hello, and welcome back to the Fit House Podcast.
I'm a little nervous right now for two different reasons. One, about 90 seconds ago, Gina just said to me, I'm feeling really blunt and honest right now. And two, this is take two because she started getting really blunt and honest like a minute into take one. And I know we said we were just going to keep rolling with it, but it was a little too blunt and honest. So I don't know what's going to happen right now. The topic this week is how to stay motivated during the summer with your training. And like, I get it. I have well, it's weird for me because I've been doing this for so long. So I am extra motivated with my training during the summer. And the reason I'm extra motivated with my training is it is beautiful outside. So we're going to be wearing tank tops. We're going to be wearing shorts. We're going to be going to the beach. We might be by the pool. I want to look my absolute best during the summer. So to me, that's very motivating. But sometimes I would say the area I feel demotivated is we already had a couple of days. It was like 80 degrees. It was beautiful outside. And I would go to the gym in the afternoon. That's the time that I work out. And it's so nice out. The last thing I wanted to do was go work out, even though it's a very small investment of my time in the grand scheme of the day. So I wanted to be outside with my daughter. But I guess I know what happens if I don't do it, and I don't want that to happen. So that's why it's so important to me to do it. Does any of that resonate with you?
Yes, absolutely. I think, I know what's going to happen if I don't work out, especially for 2, 3 months, and you lose everything. So the last thing I want to do is lose everything that I've worked so hard to build, slow my metabolism down, and feel terrible. Because if you're not working out, you can be active doing other things, but you're not going to feel good.
Right. Um, that's one thing that actually helps me get leaner in the summer is on top of my normal training, I add in a lot of extra stuff. So far I've been averaging 1 to 2 bike rides a day with our daughter. Gina got me she got the cutest little, it's like a little carrier seat that Taya sits in front of me. We've been doing bike rides probably 7 days a week, I would say, since it started getting nice outside. So all of that is extra that I do on top of my normal training. And I mean, I'm already leaner and it's been 2 or 3 weeks. So that's really great. I think what Gina is saying is there's always one person every summer that we know
That replaces those extras
what
with weightlifting.
whether in our personal life or whether at work, who it's beautiful outside, they stop their weightlifting, they add in a bunch of like bike riding and outdoor sport or gardening or whatever it is, and then we always end up seeing them in the fall. And I would say what would you say?
They're 20 pounds heavier, or they've lost all muscle, so they just look like bleh. So it's so easy to choose a bike ride outside as opposed to going inside and working out. But it's a small percentage of your day to just, keep slash maintain slash build and do those extras on top of working out and keep it as an appointment for yourself. Like those of you that come to Fit House, you have an appointment set up with us to work out. So, Chris and I, we don't have anybody to answer to necessarily.
Well, you do. You have to answer to me.
So
I don't have anybody to answer
I
to.
have appointments set up for myself throughout the week, and I treat them as such. And I don't let myself cancel. And, once that's done, then you can do X, Y, and Z extra. But you need to, treat them as appointments and treat them as part of your routine. So, summer comes and maybe your kids are out of school, or maybe you're off for the summer if you're a teacher. And you can very easily get out of that routine. But one thing that's super important is to keep that routine for yourself. And then once, things pick back up in the fall, you're not gonna, instantly have all of this regret that you fell off throughout the summer.
I didn't realize this until years ago that people thought, not everybody, not our clients, but some people think it's like apples to apples. Like physical activity has the same effect on your body no matter what. So, like weightlifting is interchangeable with riding a bike, or interchangeable with gardening, or interchangeable with going for a walk, or things like that. They're not the same. The effect on your body is completely different. Lifting weights is the only thing that will build and maintain and increase your metabolism. That's it. It would literally be the equivalent of I brush my teeth every night during the colder months, but then in the summer, I go outside and I rinse my mouth with the garden hose instead of brushing my teeth. But that's really the truth, because that's literally, they both have completely different effects on your body. And the garden hose is going to lead to my teeth decaying as a result of me not brushing my teeth. It's the same thing when people try to replace weightlifting. But during the summer, that should be the time where you are doing even more physical activity. It's only nice out, like what? June?
5 months,
If
6 months,
if
if
that.
we're lucky.
I feel like we got like 3-4 nice months out of the entire year. So all that extra time should be used outside and being as active as you possibly can. But I feel like as a society, we have hit the lowest common denominator for physical activity. And what I mean by that is we have like going for a walk, going for a bike ride, gardening, working in your backyard. Like those are just using your body. That's not like above and beyond. We should be doing that every single day, but we don't. We live in a society where the norm is sitting behind a desk. We sit on our ass. We are inactive. I remember there's a book that I love. It's by Bob Hoffman. He's the founder of York Barbell. He used to be the coach of the U.S. men's weightlifting team. He wrote this book back in 1939. It's called How to Be Healthy, Happy, and Strong, something to that effect. And the whole first half of the book, he is bitching about the invention of the automobile, because he is saying people are getting fatter and they are so lazy because nobody's walking anymore. Mm-hmm. In that book, he's talking about, so think about the year 1939. He says 50% of the men who enlist in the military are rejected because of their poor physical condition. He says Japan is growing as a superpower every year. If there was ever another world war, we're doomed. And who's he talking about? He's talking about who we consider America's greatest generation. So it always marvels me sometimes. It's like we've been reduced to the lowest common denominator of, oh, I got my exercise in today because I parked farther away from the door at work and I walked a little bit extra. Or I took the stairs instead of the escalator. Like those are things we should just naturally be doing on a daily basis. Like when it's nice outside, we shouldn't be on our ass watching TV. And we used to do that.
Yeah,
think of how many summers. It was Gina's idea that we should get bicycles in like what, 2017, 2018, something like that. All of our summers before that, it would be so beautiful outside. We'd be sitting on our ass watching movies. I would go outside to tan, so I'd be laying on my ass outside tanning. But we were so inactive, and it's crazy because like
our bodies are meant to move. So it's, it's so wild to me. And then once I got into the habit of walking to and from the gym the one summer, and I recruited Christopher to start walking.
You got very, very lean.
I did. But I would walk to the gym to work out, and then I would walk home from the gym every single time I went to work out, which is like 2.5. So it's like 5 miles total, like 2.5 there, 2.5 back. And I got so lean doing that, but it's like, it's so wild to me. Like,
let me use Gina as a case study right now. So you were training 4 days a week. Yeah. Me, in the summer, I always add in a day of lifting. So I go from 4 to 5 days a week in the summer. And that's just because I want to look better during the summer. Gina was weight training 4 days a week. She was walking like, you were like the Forrest Gump of walking over the course of that summer.
Yeah.
Now, Gina got really, really lean. And here is why she got lean. She was following her nutrition. She was lifting weights. And because she was lifting weights, she was maintaining her metabolism as she lost weight. And all of the extra walking was just an extra stimulus for her to lose more fat. But here's the thing, and I was just having a conversation on the phone with someone about this maybe an hour ago. People don't realize as you lose weight, no matter who you are and no matter what you're doing, you lose some muscle too. So if you're, I use an example, if you were just out walking, let's say you just started walking 7 days a week throughout the summer and you're dieting, the weight that you lose is probably somewhere around 50% fat and 50% muscle. Now, here's the problem with that. Eventually, as you lose muscle, your metabolism's slowing down. And then you don't lose as much from walking anymore. Your body doesn't allow you to lose fat as much anymore. And then eventually, when your metabolism gets in the gutter, you're going to have a standstill where you're not only not going to lose any more weight, Gina, but you're going to start piling fat back on. But let's say you had lost 30 pounds through the walking and the dieting. And let's just say roughly it's 50% fat, 50% muscle. Are you going to put back on 15 pounds of fat and 15 pounds of muscle?
No.
No, you're going to put back on 30 pounds of fat. Now your metabolism's down here. And you're going to try to do it again and lose more. And you're not going to be able to lose as much. And slowly over time, your metabolism keeps going lower and lower and lower. So let's say you've been weightlifting 4 days a week. And I'm just making these numbers up to illustrate the point. Let's say you're weightlifting 4 days a week, you add in all that extra walking, and let's say you lost 20 pounds. Maybe 3 of those pounds were muscle and 17 of them were fat. Awesome. But no matter what, as you lose weight, you lose some muscle, even if you're doing everything right. So that is why it is so important that as you get leaner, you are doing all the right things to maintain your muscle.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense to me.
Awesome. Makes sense to me. What else, what were we talking about?
I don't know, you interrupted me at one
Sorry.
point. Oh, when I was walking to and from the gym.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't even remember where I was going with that thought.
Well, you got really lean. Me, I was like, oh my God, I was like out of shape.
He was huffing and puffing trying to keep up with me.
I remember we first started walking. I'm like, Gina, I'm going to walk around the block.
He did.
And then 2 things happened. I walked around the block. I was like, fuck, this is long. And 2, I was like, it's weird because I'm in shape, like gym shape, and I was lean, but I was just did not have a good base because I don't use. Think about it. My job is very, very inactive. Like I'm on my feet all day, but I'm just standing on my feet. I'm not really doing anything. I'm not being active. Like if you were a postal worker and you're delivering mail, okay, that is active on your feet job. If you were a farmer, that is an active on your feet job. 99.9% of us, and count me in that, we do not have active on our feet jobs. So like during the summer, it's nice outside. Get outside and use your body more. Give yourself activity. During the winter, you should be doing the same thing. We just don't have a lot of options in Buffalo. Unfortunately, the Boulevard Mall is closed now. We pretty much...
You know what? I don't agree with that. Because I don't know if you remember how many times I would never miss a walk. You just have to adjust for the weather. Like, it is never too cold outside. There's just...
How dare you?
You have to dress for the elements. Like, I would still take Taya out with me when she was little. I would just bundle her up and wrap her underneath my coat, and we would go for a walk. And she was all snug, and I was all snug. And by the time we got home, I'd be carrying my jacket because I'd be sweating. So I hate when people say, oh, like, it's too, insert excuse here. You're just not doing the things that you need to do to make it happen. So...
Well, I was going to say, we lived at the Boulevard Mall. Unfortunately, they closed it down now. So we would go to the Boulevard Mall and walk around the Boulevard Mall. And that probably doesn't sound like the most enjoyable afternoon. But think about it. What's the other option? What are we doing? We're going to sit home and watch TV and watch Netflix? It's like, get up, use our body. We could have went outside during those time periods that we went to the mall. We chose the warmer option instead. But the point is living in an area that has more inclement weather more often than not, you have to make a choice to get up and to do something. Does that make sense?
It's all a choice.
All right. Any other things you want to add to that, Gina, or are we going to wrap this up?
Nope, we're wrapping it up. stay consistent, keep your appointment for yourself, and add in some extras this summer.
And eat well during the summer too. That's one crazy thing to me. I got to add this one thing. Whenever we go on vacation and we go to use the gym, where are 99.9% of the people in the gym?
On some sort of cardio equipment.
They're on the treadmill, which is wonderful for us because it leaves the actual weightlifting equipment completely open. And I have not spoken to each and every one of these people on the treadmill, but I got a general idea from doing this for a long time that when people go on vacation, they eat and they drink like Vikings. Then they go use the cardio stuff at the gym because they think that that is going to burn off what they were eating and drinking. The joke is that's actually making them fatter. So most people that I know during the summer is the time of barbecues, cookouts, ice creams. Usually it's harder for people to keep their nutrition on track during the summer as it is during the winter months. Would you agree with that?
100%. And what people don't realize is like you go out and you have one drink, like that more often than not is a whole meal. Like you drink some fancy drink, that's a meal.
So if I decided that this summer, did I say the part that those people on the treadmill are actually making themselves fatter?
You did.
Okay. It's a whole nother topic. Maybe we would do a podcast on that. But if I decided this summer, all bets are off. I'm going to Dairy Queen and I'm getting, what are those things called with the Reese's?
Blizzard.
Okay, and I'm getting a Blizzard. I'm having a Blizzard every single day. And you know what? I'm going to start day drinking. Like, I'm going to be chilling out.
Man, he's going to be...
You're going to find me on the front lawn. I'm going to be day drinking.
He's going to be really friendly.
A couple days a week. Maybe a couple margaritas on the weekend. Mamacita. That's my summer. If I were going to do that and I wanted to mitigate as much damage as possible to survive that so I can maintain my physique and at least maybe have some semblance of progress, I would probably...
I thought you were going to say pride.
What'd you say?
I thought you were going to say pride.
No, my pride's down the cutter with that. If I were going to do that and try to maintain my physique, that literally I would do like zero cardio. You would never find me on a bike or a treadmill or a notebook or anything like that. I would up my weightlifting to probably 6 days a week. So I'd up my weightlifting to 6 days a week, give myself one day off, and I would walk as much as possible on top of that. That would be my personal plan if I did not want to get fat while eating and drinking and doing all those other things on top of everything throughout the summer. You know what? I would probably be able to be close to maintaining doing that. If I up my lifting to 6 days a week, because think about it, that's going to maintain my metabolism and keep it up here as I'm doing all these detrimental things.
But you want to know what the crazy
body.
thing is? Like,
What?
you still wouldn't feel good, and you would still
I didn't say it would feel good. I'm just saying, I want to go day drink with your dad.
But he would still feel like he would not be at his, like, leanest. And
I wouldn't.
The joke is, like, so all the extra that he just said that he would have to do, like, imagine if your typical, like, just general population client did that. Like, could you imagine, like, say, you know, there's plenty of people that go camping every weekend and they're having, like, you know, insert drinks here, and then they're having whatever they're eating for dinner and pasta salads and s'mores for dessert and all that stuff, and ice cream. They go for a walk and get an ice cream. You know, imagine if your just average person did that. And then imagine if Chris did that, if he wouldn't be able to, maybe he would be able to maintain, but it still wouldn't be his leanest. Like, you have to really be cognizant of what you're doing and what you're putting in your body. Otherwise, it's so easy. So maybe at the end of the summer, you're only up 1 or 2 pounds and that doesn't seem so bad. But if you're never getting those 1 or 2 pounds off, it has a cumulative effect. By Christmas, you could be...
It depends on who you are, and it depends on how it happens. So what you just said about me, the reason I could probably skirt away with that and not see like a huge... I would go backwards. I would definitely lose results, and I'd be a little fatter. But I was trying to say how I could maintain as close to my current physique as possible throughout the summer. That would be my plan. I was up my weightlifting. But you have to factor in, I'm like what? I don't know what I weigh right now. Like I'm around 230 pounds. And I'm at a very low body fat. I carry a lot of muscle mass. So I carry a lot of metabolism that I didn't just get this in the last year. It's something that I've been maintaining for over decades. So my body is going to function and react very differently than somebody else's body. Does that make sense?
If I just did what Chris said he was going to do, I would still be up 5 pounds at the end of the summer, and
Okay.
I'm pretty lean right
Well,
now.
okay, so two things. One, you have to decide what you want during the summer. If your goal is to make progress and get leaner during the summer, I couldn't do that doing the funny business that I just said. And that's at the level that I'm at. So somebody else has to really buckle down if they want to see progress during the summer. If somebody else is okay with maintaining during the summer, then I mean, maintaining is a tough word because you're either moving forward or backwards. But if you want to stay to as close to as possible, they need to maintain their weightlifting, and they would need to then, on top of their normal weightlifting, add in as many exercises as you can. But the person who you just said about that puts on a pound or two during the summer, it really depends on what was happening. Because if I were to do what I just said, where I up my weightlifting to like 6 days a week, and I'm day drinking and doing some other stuff, I would probably put on only a couple pounds. But the reality is, I would have definitely lost some muscle because I'm putting a lot of poison in my body during that. Does that make sense? So a lot of times I see people over the course of a summer, and these are people who like keep their weightlifting on track, but they just go off and they're getting kind of crazy with food and things like that. Like, oh, I'm only up a pound or so. Well, you might actually be up more pounds of fat and then down some pounds of muscle as a result. Or conversely, I can't tell you, somebody I know, this is my personal life, not a client, but somebody that I know, they stopped weightlifting for a month for they had their personal reasons, and everybody has to learn things at their own pace, right? Went on a vacation. They were, their nutrition's usually, I give them like a B minus, like C plus. And they're like, hey, at the end of that month, they got back to their weightlifting and be like, you know what? I only put on like 5 pounds during that period. Well, here's the problem, and I did not measure them, so I want to use numbers to illustrate a point. They probably lost 5 pounds of muscle during that and put on 10 pounds of fat. So even the scale only says up 5 pounds. In reality, they're down in metabolism and they're up in extra fat. And that's like the X factor that a lot of people don't account for is they live and die by the scale. The scale does not show you how much fat you've lost and how much muscle you lost. It only shows you how much less space you're taking up on Earth. And that's one thing I really enjoy about something I'm certified in that I do with numerous clients. It's called metabolic balance, and I do this with Gina as well. Is over your entire body, 14 points testing your body fat percentage at those different points, and then those results are plugged into software, and it could show us the total of how much fat mass you have and how much muscle mass you have. And then the cool thing is, I will use a client as an example right now who she has been crushing her nutrition. She's been doing an amazing job. So we track it. Like we'll see, she doesn't have a whole lot of weight to lose. She was already very petite when we started. She was not as lean as she wanted to be. So we'll track and we'll see like she's down 4 pounds. And out of those 4 pounds that she's down, only like 0.2 of those pounds are muscle. Like that is a win because remember, as you lose weight, you lose muscle no matter what. So our job in working together with her nutrition, with her training is as she loses fat, to have the amount of muscle that she loses be very, very small because that's going to allow her to keep losing fat. That's going to keep her metabolism humming, and it's going to allow her to be able to continue that for a long period of time. Gina is needling me in my thigh, which is always the signal that it is time to wrap up. Gina, do you want to have anything to add to that conversation?
No, I think we covered it pretty well.
All right. Well, we hope you found some value in this conversation. We hope you have an amazing summer. And if you got any questions on it, like reach out to us. I realize everyone is different and everybody has a different situation. Everyone has different things going on. Reach out. I always like to say, we like to meet everyone at their level of participation. So if you have any questions, please reach out. You want to end it? You want to kiss? What do you want? Oh, all right. Have a wonderful summer.